Watching football's greatest rivalry for well over a decade between Messi and Ronaldo has given football fans a longing for replacement rivalry of equal magnitude. Gareth Bale vs Neymar in 2016, Haaland vs Mbappe in 2023, or more recently Yamal vs Mbappe in 2025. Football fans have always needed something to fill the gap that Messi and Ronaldo created. But what's unique about the Yamal vs Mbappe comparison is that for the first time in a long time we're seeing two players who are identical to Messi and Ronaldo, both in their playing style and overall aura, Yamal being Messi's Regan and Mbappe being Ronaldo's Regan. And yet, somehow, this rivalry isn't quite hitting the same. At least, not yet. You see, the Messi and Ronaldo rivalry didn't actually start out as a thing. Unlike later in their career when Messi would do something phenomenal, then Ronaldo fans would brag about already having a similar achievement, and Ronaldo would also do something outstanding and then Messi fans would do the same. The beginning of their careers started out with fairly wholesome public engagement. When they both won their first Ballon d'Or awards, there was practically zero comparison. As a matter of fact, the first time they were nominated for the award in 2007, with the award winner being Kaká, the second place was given to Cristiano, only for it to be recalled seconds later by FIFA president as there was a mistake in the order of lineup.
No.
To Messi.
Second.
To Messi.
I think second for Lionel. Second, Lionel. Could you change it, please? Oh.
Well, you tried,
Thank you very much.
but you didn't manage.
You tried, but you managed. If I were Cristiano, I would be livid. But you see, it wasn't that much of a big deal back then because a dogmatic rivalry wasn't in existence. Back then, players dominated season by season. Fabio Cannavaro did his season and that was it. Ronaldinho did his season and that was it. Kaká did his season and that was it. Individual success was on a turn-by-turn basis and football fans never felt entitled to one player owning the award. But as time went by, Messi and Ronaldo's continuous individual achievement meant the birth of a new culture. The birth of player rivalries. But with Yamal and Mbappe, these are players who've been able to do things quite differently to Messi and Ronaldo. If we start by comparing achievements at a young age, then there's no doubt that both Yamal and Mbappe clear that category. Whilst Messi at 17 had 9 appearances and just 1 goal, Yamal at 17 already has 100 appearances with 25 goals to his name. And then you add the titles, his La Liga title as well as the Euros 2024 title where he scored in the final. Yamal without a shadow of doubt clears Messi. And on the other hand, Ronaldo at the age of 19 was already considered an exciting and raw talent with 6 goals throughout the league season coupled with an Euros final appearance. Mbappe at that same age had 21 goals in his league season, clenching the domestic treble, as well as a World Cup where he scored in the final to give France the victory. At that same age, he was already a Ballon d'Or contender and considered top 5 best in the world. Earlier this season, Lamine Yamal was announced as Barcelona's new number 10 after taking over from Ansu Fati, who till today I've never understood why he was given the number in the first place despite never having had a season even worth considering him the heir to Messi. The only logical conclusion is that the then newly appointed President Laporta wanted to reassure his club supporters about the safety of the club's future, and so appointing the 5'7" 18-year-old kid from La Masia with potential was the safest bet. But with Yamal, it's not just optics or his La Masia beginnings that make him worthy of that number. His playing style alone is enough to pass the message across of what the kid is capable of. The way he moves, the way he takes on 1, 2, 3 players at the same time, it just reminds you of Messi's early days as a young player. The constant attacks at goal, the constant threat, the nightmares. Even his stats for his age are crazy when you think about it. 43 goal contributions in 55 games in the just concluded season. And then his importance to the Barcelona system cannot be overemphasized. Just like how Messi in the early days of his career was integrated around a system rather than having a system built around him as his career went on, Yamal is also a piece of the larger Barcelona puzzle. With other key players like Gavi, Pedri, Rafinha, Ferran Torres and the likes constituting part of that puzzle. Yamal plays on the wider side of the pitch where it's easier for him to shine with his dribbles while avoiding the risk of losing the ball in a critical position like the center. But as time goes on, just like Messi, we're going to see a Barcelona squad that is built around Yamal as the main focus. And if you pay attention to Barcelona games, you'll notice an emergent pattern of Yamal more often than not making his way to the 18-yard box to get his own attempt at goal. Another notable characteristics about Yamal is his confidence during games. Whilst other players his age treat the ball like a ticking time bomb looking to give it away without making any mistakes that could cost the team. Yamal makes way to many mistakes when handling the ball, however this doesn't hamper on his confidence when with the ball. H is noticeably fearless under pressure.
Mbappe, Thuram, Mbappe! Oh wow!
Without a shadow of doubt, Mbappe is a superstar. For years, Mbappe's arrival at the Santiago Bernabeu felt like an inevitability, delayed only by PSG's resistance and his own hesitations. When it finally happened, it coincides with the departure of Luka Modric a year later. Similar to Yamal being given the number 10 jersey, Mbappe was also given that number early this season, even though we know his desired number was hijacked by a certain Brazilian attacker. But Mbappe can hardly be classified as a classic number 10. When you look at the likes of previous Madrid 10s such as Modric, James Rodriguez and Ozil, hardly anything about Mbappe's game indicates that creative genius movement or any form of artistic element to it. Mbappe is purely a danger man and that's about it. His speed, explosiveness, and ruthlessness in front of goal are qualities more reminiscent of Madrid's famous number 7s, Ronaldo, Raúl, than the scheming playmakers of old. Yet in wearing the 10, he embodies Madrid's attempt to position him as more than just a goalscorer. In this post-Modric era, Mbappe's debut season in Madrid was extraordinary, 44 goals in 59 appearances, winning the European Golden Shoe. His impact was instant, both statistically and symbolically. For a club that thrives on superstars, Mbappe's arrival was both a footballing coup and a cultural statement. He has already proven himself under immense pressure: the 2018 World Cup, the 2022 World Cup, carrying PSG to a Champions League final, and becoming France's talisman. Madrid knew he could handle it. And if he couldn't, well, they'd just buy the next superstar anyway. Comparisons with Cristiano Ronaldo were inevitable. Both arrived at Madrid as proven scorers with an aura that demanded attention. Yet where Ronaldo embodied relentless power and single-minded ambition, Mbappe's personality is more understated. He does appear to crave the spotlight much more subtly rather than glamorously loud as much as Ronaldo did, but he still attracts it by virtue of his ability. Whether he becomes Madrid's defining superstar of the decade remains to be seen, but the ingredients are there. And if not, Florentino Perez can always make another 3 a.m. phone call to Haaland. However, these players aren't strangers to each other. The first real clash came in 2024, when Barcelona faced PSG in Europe. Mbappe, still at PSG, stole the headlines with goals, but Yamal impressed with his fearlessness against seasoned defenders. At Euro 2024, Yamal again announced himself by becoming the youngest scorer in the tournament's history. In doing so, he outshone Mbappe, whose France side underwhelmed. Later that year, in the Nations League, Spain met France, and Yamal scored twice, including a nerveless penalty after Adrien Rabiot's foul. Against Mbappe's France, the teenager had delivered the decisive blows. And as everyone knows, if you embarrass France in an international tournament, you're halfway to a Ballon d'Or already. Since then, domestic battles have multiplied. El Clásicos, Spanish Super Cups, Copa del Rey clashes, Yamal and Mbappe have faced off in the most high-pressure environments. A pattern has begun to emerge. Mbappe dazzles individually, often with goals or moments of brilliance, but Madrid too often fall short. Yamal, meanwhile, finds ways to be decisive for Barcelona, whether through goals, assists, or pre-assists. His fingerprints are on victories that make the difference. One El Clásico in particular has already become folklore, a title-deciding clash where Mbappe scored a hat-trick, yet the night belonged to Yamal. His orchestration of Barcelona's attack, capped by a late assist, ensured Barca claimed the points. That was an indicative moment, the kind of match that begins to shape a rivalry into something bigger than football itself. And if history has taught us anything, it's that Real Madrid hat-tricks mean less when Barcelona are lifting the trophy at the end. Like Messi and Ronaldo before them, Yamal and Mbappe offer contrasting personalities and playing styles. One, a teenager carrying the aura of destiny, fearless and expressive. The other, a seasoned superstar, polished and proven, embodying Madrid's eternal hunger for dominance. The duel doesn't yet have the weight of history that Messi versus Ronaldo carried, but history, after all, takes time. Football is forever searching for its next defining rivalry. After a generation became obsessed with Messi versus Ronaldo, the game is still adjusting to life without that constant. Bale versus Neymar never took hold. Haaland versus Mbappe feels more statistical than spiritual. But Yamal versus Mbappe, that has the potential to capture imaginations, not because it has been marketed to us, but because the ingredients are all there. Different philosophies, different personalities, the Barcelona versus Real Madrid story arc, and the sense that every clash could be decisive. It may not yet have the electricity of its predecessor, but rivalries are not born overnight. They are built, over years, in stadiums and finals, in records and heartbreaks. Yamal versus Mbappe is only just beginning, and if their early encounters are any indication, football may yet have found its next great rivalry, or, at the very least, the next great Twitter argument.